Hmm. Tap, tap, tap. Is this thing on? All right. I'm like way later than I usually do this. It's because I've been busy. And I also totally don't have anything to talk about today because I've just been busy. Okay, so here's basically what's happened that has made me so not just busy, but also just exhausted. So a while ago, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this amount of like manual labor outside, like a bunch of digging and stuff, every day, except for days that I get rained out. And for months, this was working great because maybe every third day I'd get rained out and wouldn't be able to do stuff. So then I'd get a break. But right now, it's been like, I don't know, like a month and a half or something. I haven't had a single rain day. I'm just like wiped out. Like every day I can dig, and I'm like, I better dig. And I mean, it's great. I'm making tons of progress. I'm also just like, I don't know, just tired because I haven't been taking any breaks. But you know, I gotta take advantage while the weather's good, because who knows? Maybe it's gonna start raining and it'll rain every day for a month, and I won't be able to dig. So I don't want to miss any days, you know. So I've just been doing a lot of outside work. My muscles are working out pretty good. Yeah. Although I think I'm even overdoing it with that because like it's hard to keep up with all the eating I have to do to keep up with all the energy I'm using. But it's going pretty good anyway. Um, yeah, and we have well, let me just say hello to Mr. Landfill and Eli and Mr. Landfill again, and Classic Dude Mike and Rick. Is that Risk owns? How's it going, guys? So yeah, this is totally later than I normally do these things, but I've just been busy all day, and I did have I don't know. I guess I didn't really think of anything. I couldn't think of anything good to talk about today. Like I usually. Oh, I just got disconnected there. Everything's working now, right? I don't know. It's a rare occurrence for. All right, what's going on here? It's not my electricity. Everything's fine. I did hear some thunder, so who knows? Maybe there's a storm. So I don't know what's going on with the internet now. I just got disconnected twice for like 5 seconds each time. So I don't know. Seems okay right now. But if I suddenly disappear, I guess the internet broke. But it's usually like super reliable. Whatever. Do you plan on getting any livestock or poultry? Food and compost. Absolutely. Love your videos. You've motivated me so much. Ah, beautiful. Any livestock or poultry? Well, I'm kind of surrounded by the ocean, so there's fish in that all over the place. But that obviously wasn't me bringing them there. In terms of like raising animals, yeah, I want to get chickens. I don't feel like I'm quite ready for them yet. I also want to get like cows and some. What is going on with this thing? It's like every minute and a half it just disconnects for 5 seconds. Yeah, my electricity looks fine. Yeah, I don't think it's me. Yeah. Okay, anyway. God, that's annoying. Yeah, I want to get animals and stuff. I feel like I'm not ready to get them yet. Food and compost. I do have compost. You know, just all my kitchen scraps and all that stuff. I put them in a. I put most of them in a banana circle actually. And a banana circle is just where you dig out a hole, maybe 2 meters in diameter, like a 6-foot diameter hole, and maybe half a meter deep, like 1.5 feet deep, and take all that dirt and put it around the edge of the hole, so you end up with a raised donut, and then plant banana trees around that as a banana circle. And then in the hole in the middle, you throw compost, including chipped up banana trees that have already done bananas. So the way banana trees work is they're not wood. They're like sort of like giant grass. You know, like it's they'll be like this thick or this thick. It's just, but it's kind of like grassy. It's sort of like if you tried to make wood out of really soggy grass, kind of like grass. You know, if you made wood out of grass and inflated it with water, kind of. That's what a banana tree is like. Anyway, a banana tree grows up, makes a thing of like 200 bananas or whatever, and then once that happens, that banana tree's dead. I mean, it's not dead, but it's done. So what I've been told is to do is you chop up that banana tree and throw it in the pile of compost in the middle of the, you know, at the base of all the banana trees, and then it feeds the next banana trees. So anyway, yeah, so I have a banana circle that gets most of my compost, and then I have a few other little spots where I put compost. And I am growing food. I have a couple amazing looking avocado trees that I'm thinking I need to trim soon. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to do a good job of that and not screw it up. I also have my first papayas growing, which I'm very excited about. They're only like this big so far, but like recognizable papayas. So that's great. Whoa, gargoyle pinball. I love your name. Yeah, island net down. I don't know why the internet's going down, but it looks like everything's fine now. Eli says, "What's your next build? Like, what's the next thing I'm gonna build?" I'm like up to my neck in like several projects right now. Okay, here's what I'm basically doing right now. So I'm doing a bunch of digging to basically make a spot where I can build a guest house and just kind of flatten out an area for, you know, just like a little sports field, playing catch and frisbee and stuff, you know, just a hangout place for me and my kids, and, you know, if people come over, we can have a picnic there or whatever, you know, just like making a little nice field with a guest house on the side. And then the lumber mill's already done. I got the lumber mill done. That was amazing. And then I'm using the dirt from that to fill in some, you know, level out some ground in some spots and whatever. So a guest house is one of the big things I'll be getting into fairly soon. I mean, I've already started it, you know, flattening out the ground. But then the other thing is just working on the path into my jungle on one of my bigger properties, where I want to get logs to bring them over to cut in the lumber mill to make boards for the second and third floor in my house here, which I haven't built yet. I'm very eager to build the second and third floors in my house. I know I've already said that. I was so eager that I almost just decided to buy the wood, but I was like, no, if I cut it all myself, then by the time I get it done, even though it'll take longer, I'll have all that stuff set up to cut wood myself, you know, so I won't be relying on money all the time. You know, I like to do things myself and set things up so they can continually operate without having to, you know, buy fuels or, you know, bring in. Basically, I don't need money for everything. I'm more independent. I can do more things myself. I really like that. Which actually brings me to one thing I was thinking about talking about, but I didn't really have a whole thing to say. But let me just talk about it real quick. So I was talking to this girl recently, just some girl I met online, because I'm trying to meet girls, you know, whatever. This particular girl, I only had one conversation with. But we were talking about various things, and the topic of kids came up. And she was talking about how she doesn't want to have too many kids because they'll interfere with her financial goals, because kids cost money. And I was just like, what do you mean kids cost money? Well, you got to get the daycare and the this and the that and the sports clubs and the things, and you got to do all these things, you know, send your kids to all this stuff that you pay for, and then schools and university. And she was just listing all this different stuff that was basically outsourcing raising children. And I'm just like, well, why don't you just raise the kids yourself instead of paying other people to do it? Which she took horrible offense to, and the conversation was quickly over at that point. But anyway, just as, I mean, that's an idea that I've run into a lot, where where people think that like a child costs a certain amount of money, and I get where this is coming from, because I've heard it from the silly propaganda out in the world where it says, on average, each child costs $462,000 for their parents or whatever, over the first 20 years, or people come up with these ridiculous figures and say, and then people accept it and think, oh yeah, well, when I have kids, that means I have to pay this and this and this and this, and they just accept that you have to pay all this stuff, instead of just thinking like, wait. People have been on this planet for what, like 200,000 years? And most of that time, we didn't have daycare to pay for or do all this other stuff. What were people doing then? And the answer is they just raised their own kids, like, I've mentioned this before, but I know this woman who has several kids, and I was talking to her one day, and she was just saying how frustrated she is that her job doesn't even pay for the daycare that she sends her kids to. And I asked her, why are you sending your kids to daycare? So I can work, she said. And I'm like, do you understand how insane that is? You're sending your kids to daycare so you can work, which doesn't pay for the daycare. And she's like, yeah, isn't that annoying? And I'm like, oh gosh, okay, yeah. Let's look at it this way. You're sending your kids to daycare and you're paying $20 for daycare. And then you're going over here and making $10. You're spending $20 so you can make 10, and you don't get to see your kids. And like at some point it just clicked in her head, and she's like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing that? And then she stopped doing it. She quit her job and started raising her kids at home, and was like, this is much better. It was amazing to me that the thought had not occurred to her that she could just do that. Like she'd been told all her life that this is what you do things this way, and just, it was so ingrained in her head that any other idea was just, it was just like, what? You don't do it. You send your kids to daycare, you get a job to pay for it. That's how you do kids, Oh, it was amazing. That it's amazing that the propaganda can be at the level it is right now. Just all the marketing and all that stuff. Okay, do you have any monkey action on the island? Oh, my kids swing around in trees sometimes, but are you asking if I have actual monkeys on my island? I've never seen a monkey here. I've seen, I had some iguanas living here, and they had a baby while they were here, while I was building my house. I also saw some big birds of prey while I was working on my house. And they had babies too. And once I saw where their little eggs were, I just like put a few sticks and made a like a kind of like a perimeter, and told my kids, don't go over there because there's some eggs, and showed them where they were. But yeah, those birds hatched, and it was really cool seeing them, just these little fuzzy things, and then seeing them grow up into these monsters that just let's see, no monkeys though. Is the guest house going to be a dome as well? I think so, probably. Yeah, I'd say 95% chance the guest house is going to be a dome. It's like probably 2 stories tall. I don't know. I mean, I have a couple different ideas I'm thinking about. I'll have to see when I get to that point which one I want to do. I mean, it's probably going to be a styrocrete dome, 2 stories tall, with lots of fiber reinforcement, holding it tight to make sure there's no cracks or anything. Like in my roof here, my roof leaks. So that's why I was putting those dragon scale tiles on the roof, which I have them half finished, and I haven't finished it yet, but I'll finish that at some point. But I want to try to make a dome that really, really doesn't leak. It's a little tricky, but it should be doable, right? Particularly if the guest house is a lot smaller. It's not such a huge thing. So I'm going to try to make it. I think this is what I'm going to do. Make styrocrete dome. Use lots of fiber reinforcement. try to make it non-leaky at all, but still a monolithic dome. Monolithic domes are apparently kind of known for leaking, but we'll see. I can't wait to see the other floors complete. Yeah, me too, man. Oh, my first floor has like half the stuff on my first floor goes upstairs. So it's gonna be great to get all like so much stuff off this floor into the places it goes. Do your kids go fishing? They fish a little bit, like just with a line and a hook, you know. Not that much though. Today I went spear fishing. I didn't get anything today because, well, there were a couple fish that I saw that I could have speared, that I would have speared if I was like desperate for food, but I was like, well, I already have stuff to eat, and these guys are kind of below the size that I really want to get, unless I'm just, you know, really hungry and I have nothing else to eat. I don't would have shot them. But anyway, my kids were sitting on the boat, like looking for fish under the boat and telling me, hey, there's a fish, go get it. And it was like this big, and I was like, no. Anyway, we know you like building domes, so why not try pyramids? Well, I can tell you why I prefer a dome over a pyramid, because balloons are shaped in the dome shape. Okay, there's a lot more to the answer than that, but that basically sums it up. All right, a dome shape is much stronger, like a curved shape is much stronger than a flat shape, and a pyramid has flat sides. So those flat sides are not anywhere near as strong as a curved surface. So the walls would have to be a lot stronger with a lot more reinforcement of some kind, whereas a dome, you get a lot more strength for the amount of material. You also maximize the amount of internal space for the amount of material you're using. Kids need to have a life outside of their parents. Okay. Yeah, obviously. So I think what Mike James here is referring to is when I said, you know, raise your own kids. Okay. God. I feel like I shouldn't have to explain this. This is so obvious. I feel stupid saying it. But like, because you're raising your own kids doesn't mean you're locking them in your house and they never see outside or meet other people. That doesn't make any sense at all. And this is what people do when they try to justify something stupid. And I'm not meaning to pick on Mike here, but this is something that happens a lot. I'm kind of glad you brought this up. So we're given the idea, we're sold the idea that you have to spend all this money on daycare and send your kids to all of these expensive events and clubs and whatever. You got to pay all this money to have your kids raised by other people and other things. And one of the ways we're convinced to do that is exactly what you said, which is that if you're not doing that, then you're isolating your children and they're never seeing anyone and you're a bad parent. But like, why would it be one extreme or the other? Like, I can take my kids to our neighbors who have kids and they can hang out with each other. And I don't have to pay our neighbors to go visit them. Like, I don't, oh God, it's so ridiculous. Like, I don't have to find some organized club thing that costs $200 a week to go to take my kids to, for them to see other kids. I could go to the park. Now, I don't live near a park, but like if I live in a city, I could just go to a park and there'll be other kids there. There'll be parents. I can meet some parents and say, hey, you parents, I see you have the same age kids as me. What are your kids into? And here's some of the stuff my kids are into. Maybe we can get together and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Oh, your kids really like soccer, football? Oh, my kids love that too. Maybe we can find a few of these other kids and get them together and just start like a little league. We don't have to go pay and join some official money thing. Now, soccer leagues are probably pretty cheap to join anyway, but I'm sure some of them aren't. But anyway, like most of the activities you want to do with your kids, you can do for free just by getting out of your like little bubble and like actually talking to people, you know. And the funny thing is, people often call me antisocial because I don't take my kids to things where you pay. But the thing is, if you just are social and you meet people and talk to people, then you don't need all those freaking things you pay for to take your kids, and you pay people money to have your kids interact with people. Just do it yourself. Like talk to people, like be social. I know that's a hard thing to say in 2023 after we have the whole COVID, what's it called, quarantine, and no one, I don't know, everyone lost their social skills and got dumb and stuff. But anyway, I think you get the point of what I'm saying here. I was a major retail store assistant. This guy's name is Home Planet. You're a Whole Planet? Anyway, I was a major retail store assistant manager in my early 20s, etc. I say people go to work because work is far easier than taking care of the kids at home. Well, I have something to say about that too. Taking care of kids is unbelievably difficult when you're trying not to do it. Like when you're trying to get away from your kids and you don't want to deal with them, they're gonna drive you crazy. The way you fix that is you focus on your kids and you say, all right, what do they need? I'm gonna do everything. And you prioritize your kids. I'm gonna do the stuff they need. And the thing people don't understand about that is they think, and I'm sure someone's gonna write this, oh my gosh, people think that if you prioritize your kids, they're gonna take up your whole life. But a huge part of what your kids need from you is to know that they are a priority. See, if you're trying to like ignore your kids and do other things all the time, they're gonna be coming after you all needy and like, I need stuff. But if you're like always trying to help your kids, and anytime they ask a question, you put down whatever you're doing and answer the question and help them with stuff, they're going to feel much more comfortable in themselves, and they're just going to go off and do stuff on their own for like most of the day. Most of the day, my kids just do stuff on their own, and they'll hang out with me sometimes, and anytime they want to hang out with me, I shouldn't say anytime, but like most of the time they want to hang out with me and do something with me. Like if I'm not busy, I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And if I'm busy with something that I can put aside, I'm like, yeah. And often, if I'm busy with something I can't put aside, but they have a question, I'll be like, oh, okay, I can pause this for like 30 seconds to answer your question. Like if you're trying to not be a parent, it is unbelievably frustrating and difficult. But if you just like commit yourself to doing it, it gets so much easier. Cause yeah. Oh, let's see. Oh God. Oh yeah, going to work is easier than taking care of your kids. Okay, this is one of the problems. If you don't get to know your kids, it's really hard to take care of your kids. And if you're sending them to daycares, like if you start off not connecting with your kids, it gets exponentially harder to connect with your kids as time goes on. But if you start off connecting with your kids, it's so easy to deal with them. You make this connection and you it just works. But yeah, if you've been working for 8 years and you now have this 8-year-old in your house that you don't know, it's going to be unbelievably frustrating to try to deal with them, Did you mill any flooring yet? No, I'm getting there. Don't worry. Most parents only say they care about their kids. Yeah, exactly. Most parents say they care about their kids, and a lot of parents hate their kids. And I might even say the majority of parents hate their kids, but like a lot of parents hate their kids. They say, oh, of course I love my kids. Of course. Anytime a parent says, of course I love my kids, I'm always a little bit like, wait, why'd you have to say of course? Like it's just presumed. Like that's, you're making it sound like, of course you love your kids, regardless of how much you might actually hate them and disregard them and not want to deal with them. No, not of course. Not of course you hate your kids. Definitely not of course. Or did I say hate your kids, love your kids, whatever. Not of course you love your kids. You either love them or you don't love them. There is no of course. It's not just built in. You don't automatically love your kids. You know you're supposed to. You're definitely supposed to love your kids. You might tell yourself you love your kids, but unless you're actually loving them, you don't love your kids. If you're not taking care of them, doing the stuff they need, listening to them, I mean, and I know a lot of parents who just want to get away from their kids. They'll just do anything to get their kids out of their face. And I would say those parents do not love their kids. All right. Most parents only say they care about their kids because they know that is the correct statement to say. Yes, it's clear they don't actually care about their kids any more than a pet dog or cat. I'd say even less than that, Oh, Living History School, your message was retracted. Man, I want to know what you were going to say. Do I have boogers? Do I have something in my teeth? Anyway, is the guest house going to be as big as Deshaina's? Big as Deshaina's guest house or her house? I don't know. It's going to be something. I'm still not entirely sure what my guest house is going to be like. I mean, I have some vague ideas and some parameters, but I'll design something good. Big fiberglass dome shingles to put on top of concrete. Well, concrete and polyester resin react in some way that what's it called? Degrades the resin. So putting fiberglass over concrete is not a good idea. At least this is what I've read. So, can regular shingles somehow be attached? I could attach regular shingles, but I'd have to put a bunch of holes or glue or something. I don't know. I like the big shingles I'm doing. They work great. I don't know. I mean, if you're going to suggest something that's superior to what I'm currently doing, not just something that's like more standardized, because more standardized doesn't mean it's better at all. We would just got camping. LOL. What? Billy, I think you gotta check your typos there. It's true schools are a ripoff beyond learning basic math and writing. Yeah, well, oh man, schools are full of propaganda and brainwashing. And I remember when I was a kid, it was not good. And I have younger siblings, so I had some experience with schools, years after I was out of school, and man, it got worse. And now I talk to other parents who have kids in schools sometimes, and they're telling me these horrible stories about stuff their kids are being taught in schools that are just not true at all. And yeah. When are you going to build the Captain Nemo submarine? Oh, that would be awesome. Maybe that's the answer to what someone asked last week or the week before. If I just had millions of dollars, what would I do? Man, submarine, like an amazing submarine. Yeah. Maybe a giant robot submarine that could cruise around under the water and then walk out onto the land. I don't know. Oh, John Smith says, I have 4 kids and I can't, I think he means imagine letting a stranger raise them for me. Yeah, me too. I mean, just the idea of sending my kids away all day and then just seeing them for like dinner and bedtime, what is the point of having kids at that point, right? That's not parenting. Yeah, exactly. That's some type of obfuscated, bizarre parenting technique. It's just not parenting. It's like, yeah, I mean, I could get into all the reasons why that stuff is being pushed on us. This is basically because people are making money off you not being a parent. And so people are pressured to not be parents so that other people can make money off. So insane. This doesn't make sense. I used to just do stuff with the neighborhood kids after school. No clubs or sports teams or karate. Yeah, exactly, man. Like, I also did like lots of sports and stuff, like organized sports. But when I think about all the stuff I did, that was amazing, like in terms of sports or in terms of like doing stuff with other kids when I was a kid. a lot of it had nothing to do with anything that was organized. And I did do organized sports, and I did track and field a lot. But even in track and field, most of what I did was just on my own, like just out running. And right now I actually have 2 of my kids started training running. I mean, very, very easy stuff at first. Like I don't want to wear them out at the beginning. They're pretty young, but I'm kind of giving them little workouts to do and stuff. And they don't need anything. It doesn't cost anything. They don't even need special shoes. They just run around the island in bare feet. So, maybe the biggest cost, if I was doing that in a place where there were sidewalks and stuff, maybe I'd get them some shoes or something. But other than that, like, just here's some workouts, here's some easy stuff to do it. Maybe we can get some of your friends involved. Actually, there's some kids not too far from here. I might get one of them. One of them seems to be pretty into sports. I might be able to get him into running too. But I want to get my kids into it a little more first. Anyway, if your kids don't learn your values, are they really your kids? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of parents just raise total strangers, and then they wonder why their kids want nothing to do with them. Like, I don't want to crap on my parents or anything, but like, I have no connection to my parents really, I mean, I am kind of old and stuff, but it would be cool if there was some kind of tradition kind of stuff in my family or something that I could carry from the past and, send on to my kids. But there isn't. I don't really have any connection with my parents because they did this, what a lot of parents do, which is kind of the modern day, just not really deal with your kids kind of thing, send them off to piano lessons and this lessons and that, just, whatever. So yeah, I do spend a lot of time trying to teach my kids values and, connect with them and stuff. And I think that's a hugely important thing. Yes, John Smith, I totally agree with you. Crypto blah blah says, didn't you say shut your face to one of your kids, then laugh it out quickly? Oh, yeah. So I have a relationship with my kids where I can call them little effers and stuff like that, and they call me that too. We're always joking around with stuff like that, and we can do that because we're close. And I can say to them, "Hey, shut your face," and they'll laugh at me because they know it's just joking around, And they know when I'm being serious too, because I have serious voice, but like, I mean, my kids and I tell yo mama jokes and swear and just tell all kinds of ridiculous jokes all the time. So the fact of me saying shut your face to one of my kids, like if you don't know the context, you can't really say anything about it. And I laugh it out because they're laughing too. We're all laughing. That's how we joke around doing that all the time. I hate my kids may have coursed my divorce. More typos, but I'm not entirely sure what you said there. Sorry you had a divorce, man. That sucks. Hi, Jaimie. Hope you're doing amazing. I'm doing pretty good. I saw a video where a 7th grade teacher was saying his students were operating on a 4th grade level, but they keep getting passed along no matter how many zeros they get. Yeah, man. Schools today are getting so bad. And I've started doing more academic stuff with my kids lately, and it's fun, anyway. And I also do all kinds of practical hands-on stuff because they're always with me when I'm, building things or when I'm digging or stuff. And they always have a million questions. And the biggest thing I have for teaching my kids is I'll answer any question. Any question they have for me, I will answer it to the best of my ability. And if I don't have an answer, like if they're asked, like, how far is the sun from here? Ah, crap. It's like, I don't know. Let's go look it up. And we'll just go on the internet and look it up. Or we have a book where we can look it up. How far is the sun? It's like, what's it, like 8 light minutes or something? Oh, I don't even remember now. Doesn't matter. Billy says, I meant to say my parents felt the Boy Scouts were a ripoff the same way you feel about clubs. We would just go camping or fishing, farm, work, play, etc. Yeah, totally, man. And like, if you want to have like a Boy Scouts kind of thing, you don't have to do the Boy Scouts. I'm not saying anything against Boy Scouts. I'm sure a lot of people have excellent experiences with that. But if I wanted to do something like Boy Scouts, I would just try to get some other kids in the area involved, maybe talk to a couple of the dads and be like, hey, let's have like, let's go on a camping trip with all our kids and, you know, show them a fun time and stuff like that. I don't even know if I know any dads around here who are into camping, but I do want to set up. Oh, this is something actually I didn't mention earlier. I was talking about projects I'm working on. I want to set up a campground. So where I'm making the paths to get logs out of my jungle over there on my bigger property, one of the reasons it's taking as long as it's taking is because I'm trying to make kind of nice paths because I want to make a campground there. So anyway, that's yeah, I'm kind of excited about that. Yeah, I liked when little Aurora used to call you Jaimie. They all still call me Jaimie. I talked to my youngest one, my 3-year-old, I think yesterday. And she always calls me Jaimie because all the other kids, I mean, once my first kid started calling me Jaimie, all the rest of the kids just call me Jaimie. So, although they refer to me as their papa, but when they talk to me, it's just, hey, Jaimie, you know. They don't say that's my Jaimie, they say that's my papa. But anyway, I was asking my 3-year-old yesterday, I was like, so you know Jaimie's my name, right? She's like, you're Jaimie. And I was like, yeah, but I'm your papa, but Jaimie's actually my name. Like, your name is this, and you know, and she was just like, what? That's your name? Anyway, island camping sound fun. Yeah, I'm really excited about having a campground. And it's probably going to be not just camping. I'm probably going to build like a bunch of cabin-y kind of things. They're probably going to be domes because I like domes. And, you know, each one will have its own little water collection thing and maybe well, I don't know. I'm thinking about what I want to do about electricity. That's a big question for this. So, like, if I do a water collection system on each little... Did I eat? Yes, classic dude Mike, I ate. I ate a couple hours ago, actually. Anyway, so if I set up a campground and have a bunch of little cabins, which are probably going to be domes, let's just call them domes. It's going to be domes. I'm sure it's going to be domes anyway. So I set up a few domes, and each one collects water for its own water tank. Then each party or family or person or whatever staying in a dome, let's just call them a person. Each person staying in each dome is in charge of their own water usage, yeah? So if they use up all their water, well, that's tough luck. Now you got to hike and go get water from the creek. But if you're, you know, sensible and reasonable, you don't use all your water, blah, blah, you know, fine. And that's fine, because if someone drains their water all the way, it doesn't damage anything. It just means there's no water. Now, if I set up electricity on each of the domes, I can't do the same kind of thing, because if I stick a solar panel on each dome and have a battery and a charge controller and blah 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 whatever in each dome and say everyone's responsible for their own electricity, the problem is if someone drains the battery till it's dead, that actually damages the battery. You know, it's not like a water tank is not going to get damaged by being empty, but a battery gets damaged by being empty. So yeah, I have to think about what I want to do about electricity in this camping situation. It might just be no electricity, or bring your own, or I might do a thing where, oh, I see a bug. Get over here. Get over here. Okay. Well, I might do a thing where I have a solar panel and it just comes into a thing, or maybe I'll put up 3 solar panels in series, so it ends up being 100 volts, and that comes into a special plug that's 100 volts DC, and it'll only work when the sun's out, you know? So there's no batteries to kill or anything, and then that way people can plug in, you know, any of these kind of things will work on AC or DC. So, you know, you could plug in your phone or computer to charge it in the daytime, but at night it's off. And that way it's, if the sun is out, you can charge things. If there's no sun out, you can't. And then there isn't anything people are going to destroy unless someone stupidly plugs the wrong thing in. But, I'll have to make sure people understand, understand what it is and what you can plug in and what you can't. That might actually totally be the way to do it, because then I don't have to worry about telling people over and over how to control themselves with their electricity usage. Yeah, maybe that's totally what I should do. And just set that up in some central thing that everyone can use. John Smith says, love ya, Jaimie. I gotta go. Wife just got home from work and she walked into the house giggling profusely. Oh my gosh, what is going on? I gotta admit, that sounds like a pretty awesome circumstance you got yourself in there right now. Oh, wife got home giggling. Oh, that's beautiful. How stable are those old underwater pilings offshore? Could you build them up again for a guest house on the water? I've considered it. They seem pretty stable, but I don't know. One thing is they're covered in barnacles and stuff. So, and when the tide is high, they're totally submerged, so they're not sticking out of the water. So I'd have to build onto them. It would be a little bit tricky. I have thought about it though. I've totally thought about it, but I don't know. I'm sure there's some way I could use them, but I don't know. Rusty Shackelford says, I run my batteries all the way down and they are fine. Well, what kind of batteries do you have? Depends on the kind of batteries. I want to know what kind of batteries you're running down to dead and they're fine. Not lead acid batteries. You kill lead acid batteries and they don't take as much charge. Although maybe you can do, you can still get some charge out of them for a long time. Lithium tends to be okay, run all the way down in my experience. Well, not all the way down. The thing is with the lithiums, you have to keep them above a certain voltage. You can't run them all the way down. But they usually, like if you buy a battery pack thing, it'll have a BMS in there that should turn them off before they get below a certain voltage. Still, I don't want to be setting up an electrical system for people to destroy. And okay, if I do it, there's going to be a few different problems. One is there's going to be a huge cost, because what do I set up an electrical system in each individual dome? In which case, that's a huge amount of money that's going to have to go into each one. Or do I set up electricity in some central thing that everyone can go plug their stuff into? But then in the middle of the night, or like probably early night, people are going to be fighting over it. I wanted to use this. No, I have to plug in my 200-watt pile of garbage, so you can't use anything. Well, I just want to plug in my phone. It gets pretty. People are insane. Lithium is too expensive and explodey for guests. Yes, Patrick. That's pretty much what I'm thinking. Not so much explodey, but yeah. I don't want to have. If I was gonna set up like all the fancy stuff, I'd have to charge like $200 a night for people to stay there. And obviously that is one way to go, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather go a little bit more camping route, because if people are coming here to camp, I want them to be interacting with nature. If they want to be on their computer all day or plugged in all the time, there's plenty of other places to do that. You don't have to come all the way out here to do that. Like just stay in town. Like if you're coming all the way out here, it's like to experience nature. So that's why I'm thinking not so much electricity. And people can plug in their rechargeable light to use at night, or their rechargeable fan or whatever, just during the daytime. Anyway, reading my early 1900s Audell's Practical Electric book, and discovered that a building for battery backup was the norm for the grid back then. A building, like a whole building for battery backup, yeah. I've actually totally thought about making giant batteries, out of like barrels full of stuff with giant electrodes in there. Although most of the electricity I use is during the daytime anyway, so I don't feel like I need a lot of storage. Like I'm not welding in the middle of the night. If I'm welding, it's going to be in the middle of the day when the sun is out. There are portable solar generators. Wait, there are portable solar generators camp with now. Have your guest bring one. Oh, you guys and your typos. Yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to have a lot of electricity when they're camping, yeah, they can bring a portable thingy, and that's fine. But that's not what. I don't want to have that set up. I don't want to be responsible for that part of it. I want to be responsible for the, here's nature, let's go snorkeling, let's go hiking or running in the woods, or let's do naturey stuff. That's the part I want to be responsible for. Make them go off grid as guests. Yeah, I mean that's kind of the point. Like I think if people are coming, like I was saying, if people are coming all the way out here to stay, I think kind of the point is to be in nature, not plugged in. Stay in your city if you just want to be on the internet all day. You could have a central charge point that cuts off at 8 p.m. or something. So yeah, I mean exactly what I was saying is I just have solar panels connected to a plug, and that's it. No batteries. So I don't have to cut it off. I don't have to make a rule or have some thing that shuts down that people are going to try to mess with to get more time out of or whatever. No, it's just if the sun is out, it works. The sun's not out, doesn't work. It's just simple, You can't scream at it or complain and make it work better. It just is what it is. And if you want more electricity, yeah, bring your own thing, or go back to town, where you can plug into the town electricity, which I believe runs on diesel generators, which is crazy. I live in the hills, and refrigerators are the only issue when we lose the power. Yeah, I don't even have a refrigerator. I have the parts to make one, so I'm probably going to make one at some point. But I haven't had a refrigerator for like years, and it's not that big a deal. Like people who've had a refrigerator their whole life, and this was me at one point. I'd always had a refrigerator. You think it's like, oh my God, how do you live without a refrigerator? But then you don't have one for a week, and it's like, well, that wasn't such a big deal. I just make sure I eat all my leftovers instead of chucking them in the fridge and then throwing them out 3 days later, moldy and gross. It's not that difficult to not have a refrigerator. It's incredibly convenient. It's very nice having a refrigerator, but it's definitely not a necessity. It's a luxury. Oh, keep it simple solution. Yes, Billy. I like to keep it simple. Yeah, I don't want to build some place. Okay, so when I say I'm setting up a campground, and my friend calls it the concentration camp. Anytime I talk about it, he's like, "Oh, you're gonna set up the concentration camp." I'm like, no. Anyway, when I set up a campground, I don't want to set up a thing that I'm gonna have to do all this maintenance on. I don't want to be like just cleaning up after people all the time and just all this stuff. Like I kind of want to set up minimal comfort stuff, like a mattress thing that is non-absorbent. Like maybe those floaty swim things. They're like covered in vinyl, and you can throw them in a pool or in the ocean. You lay on it and it floats. My daughter sleeps on one of those. Like all my little kids slept on those in this house, at least. Just in case there's accidents, because they're non-absorbent, they're easy to clean off, whatever. Anyway, I was thinking just put some of those in, because they're pretty comfortable and they're easy to clean. And then have a simple water thing. Say you're responsible for your water. You use it all, you leave it on, that's your problem. You have to go get more water then. I don't want to have to be running around wiping people's butts and just running around picking up after people. I want to set up a thing where people are basically responsible for themselves. Like the stuff is there, to live comfortably, and after that, you're responsible for it. So, do you miss ice cubes? No, I don't miss ice cubes at all, actually. Hammocks. I don't know. I don't know if I want to set up hammocks or just let people bring their own hammocks, because a hammock's pretty easy to travel with. And if I set up a hammock, it's gonna get wrecked, and I don't know. We'll see. I might set up hammocks. Actually, yeah, hammocks for people sleeping in. That's easy to clean too, right? However, propane refrigerators do exist. Well, I can't make propane, so I mean, I guess I could make methane and maybe run off that, but I don't know. I don't want a thing that runs off fuel. I would much rather have an electric refrigerator, because I can make electricity out of the sun with these fancy things called solar panels. I can't just make propane. I have to keep buying that. That's not a solution to me at all. Right now, there are no fuels I need to buy, except for my chainsaw. And I only use that if I'm, going somewhere away from here, and like when I'm cutting boards for upstairs, I'll use the chainsaw, my gas chainsaw, to cut logs into the correct lengths before bringing them to the electric, solar powered lumber mill and cut it. So I won't need much gasoline. I want to basically use no fuels that I have to buy, that I can't just produce myself. So maybe at some point I'll get into another chainsaw situation. I could just get a big bow saw. I mean, I have arms that work. Long-time viewer, never commentator. Oh my gosh, Scott, this is the first time you said something new. Way, that's awesome. Thanks for taking the time to share all that you do. Your positivity and creativity is an inspiration. Thanks for being you. Well, thanks, Scott. That's great to hear. It's really nice to get some positive feedback, because I never know how I'm doing. So yeah, that's really great to hear. Thank you, man. Classic Dude Mike says, have people bring all their own gear, just provide a campsite for them. I mean, that is another option. I mean, I'm probably going to set up both, have a few domes set up, so people who didn't bring, like who are traveling without tents and stuff, someone's just traveling with a backpack or whatever, they can go in this and be fine. But then, yeah, I'll probably have some spots where, it's just a nice flattened out spot where you could pitch your tent and just do your thing. I'll have both options. I mean, especially since the campsite is easy. That's a piece of cake. Just like, here's a nice spot to camp. Do your thing. Let's see. I'm at the end of comments. I've also been rambling on for almost an hour. So I think I'm going to get out of here in a minute. If anyone has any last minute questions or comments, let me know, and I'll try to answer your questions. Billy says, I love your streams. You remind me of one of my favorite old movies, The Swiss Family Robinsons. Well, I'm gonna have to watch that movie sometime. Bushcraft people are very independent. Yeah, true. Although I wouldn't want some bushcraft people to come in and start chopping trees down to make shelters, because then a few people come through doing that, there'd be no trees left. I mean, not none, but yeah. Gotta check out biogas. Make it with pop and food scraps. Well, I do have a biogas thing. I haven't. Okay, so since you brought it up, my fart machine, the biogas, the methane maker, it's got a leak somewhere. Because I don't know, a couple weeks ago or whatever, I finally put the pipe on the top to get the gas out, or to stop the gas from coming out, and turn it off and on. And at first, right when I put it on, I opened the valve and I can hear a little psh, so I was like, okay, it's building up gas. But then a little later, like, I don't know, a couple days later, maybe the next day, I turned it on, there was nothing. So I'm pretty sure there's a leak. I think I know where it is, and it's in a spot where I attached the pipe to. There was an existing fitting going into the tank where the methane is being produced, and it was originally a water tank. And I realized, after there's apparently a leak, that obviously the top the top water inlet doesn't have to be watertight because water just comes in there and dumps into the thing. The bottom outlet, that's got to be watertight, right? Because that's, you don't want that leaking because there's water pressure down there, and you know that's just got to go through the pipe and your valve. So that one's got to be airtight. But the top one totally does not need to be airtight. So I'm pretty sure it's leaking, and I'm gonna have to do something to seal it, which would have been easier from the inside, but since the lid is glued on and sealed, I'll have to do it from the outside. But you know, whatever, it's not a big deal. I'll just get some good sticky stuff and seal it. I think that's all that's leaking, hopefully. But yeah, we'll see. Sire Pan Fried says, bye Jaimie. Remy Cruet, Home Planet, methane cooking. Yeah, methane cooking. Tomaters must be eating dinner. Well, this is kind of late, so maybe Tomaters was like, oh, where's Jaimie? He wasn't here. I'm not going to show up. I'm going to go do something else. Do you see octopus? I haven't seen any in a while, but I have seen octopus. I've also seen cuttlefish. Cuttlefish are they're so cute and cuddly, even though it's not spelled the same. But cuttlefish are really cool. Like they change all the colors and everything. And I don't know, the last octopus I saw was years ago. I don't see them very often. Hold on, what's that? What's that? Are you talking about the octopus we saw at the beach? Oh, the little cuttlefish. Yeah, we saw a cuttlefish not too long ago. You're supposed to go... Oh, wait. Ready? Shut your face and go to bed, you turkey! Yeah, she laughed too. And now my son's over there laughing his head off too. So whoever was concerned that I tell my kids to shut their face... Can you believe this? Someone on my live was concerned that, I don't know, last week or the year before, I told one of you guys to shut your face! They thought I was being mean to my kids. Oh, yeah, they're laughing at you now. I'm sorry, man. I've cooked on methane. It works. Classic Dude Mike says. Yeah, Classic Dude Mike. Are you doing it with your fart machine? Because you made a fart machine too. Oh, Home Planet says time to go get some tacos. Oh, tacos sound amazing right now. Are you on the Gulf side or the Pacific Ocean side? I'm on the Gulf side, the Caribbean side, the Atlantic side, where the tides are only like this much. On the Pacific side, on the Pacific side, the tides are like, what's it, like 5 meters or something. The tides go up so much more than over here. It's crazy over there. Oh man, I want tacos too. Yeah, you got everyone. Home Planet, you got everyone thinking about tacos now. I wish I could invite you all over tomorrow for Taco Monday, but people are all over the planet, so that would be difficult. Although, I should have another Adventure Builder meeting. Like, maybe next May. I used to have them when I lived in Vermont every year on my birthday or, you know, the weekend before or after or whatever. I'd have this Adventure Builder meeting and people would come and camp. Sometimes people would come camp for a whole week or just, you know, whenever. And we'd have a Adventure Builder hangout thing. That was cool. I want to start doing those again. So maybe I'll make it a goal to have my campsite set up before May next year, and we can have a Adventure Builder meeting. Although I am in a little bit more of a remote place than I used to be, so it might be harder for people to get here. Although people used to come to Vermont from like all over the world. You know, most people were from the US or the Northeast US, but some people actually like flew across oceans to come and hang out for a week, which was pretty awesome. Anyway, fart machine is sleeping for the winter and I've banished my sand battery. Yeah. Caribbean, see you later. All right. Oh, yeah, tacos. All right. Everyone have a wonderful night. Or whatever you've got, wherever you are. You guys are all over the planet. Oh, and I gotta say, thanks to whoever told me last week about the eclipse coming up. Because then I was totally ready to see it with my kids, and we had a great time. So thanks to whoever told me about that, gave me the heads up. I'd love to come down there. All right, a dose of East Coast. All right, a dose of East Coast. If you want to come down here, I am tentatively planning an Adventure Builder meeting for the week of my birthday, which is May 3rd next year. I don't actually know what week it is, but the way I used to do it was, I would just pick the week of my birthday. I don't even know why it started as that at the first one, but it just became a tradition to do it on the week of my birthday. So it would be like the weekend before my birthday, and then the week of my birthday, and then the weekend after. And most people would show up at the weekend after, but some people will come early and just camp out all week. So I'm gonna tentatively plan to do that next year, to have a thing where people come and hang out for a week, a weekend, whatever, next May 2024, presuming there's no quarantine. Oh, you did a great job, Home Planet says. Of what? Oh, start the in-person online adventure meeting. Start the in-person online adventure meeting. Yeah. Dude, I love your Eclipse video. Loved it. Oh, great. Thanks, Sean. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. May the 4th be with you. Yes. That's an easy way to remember. You can just remember May the 4th next year. It's the day after my birthday, but whatever. Oh, I'd like to see if storing your spear point down in soaked oil and sand pipe or bucket would stop rust. Yeah, I mean, it should. Even just if I wipe my spear off with oil after I get out of the water, it should be fine. The other way would just be to get like a 316 stainless spear part, and it wouldn't rust. I mean, it might get a tiny bit of rust, but yeah, it would be fine. Late night Panama Power Conference, just sat down to eat. Still fighting a carbon seized bolt over here. Oh, that's worse. Cutting thick pieces of steel for benches. Will rewind the visit if you are shutting down. Yes, rewind. I was just about to take off, but good to see you, Ark. I hope you get that carbon seized bolt off. And let's see. Sounds good, man. I'll start planning. Oh yeah, Ark. In case you missed it, I'm tentatively planning to have an adventure builder meeting here next May 3rd. The week of May 3rd, like the weekend before that week, the weekend after, unless my birthday's on a weekend, then I have to pick the week before, after. Well, I better look it up. But that's the basic plan. I want to get a campsite set up by then so people can come visit and hang out and blah, blah, blah. Vinegar soaking does pretty good on rusted metal. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna get out of here. Everyone have an awesome everything. And oh God, I'm getting a zit right in the middle of my forehead. That's real classy, man. Stop streaming.